Hey, you guys. What's up? How is everybody doing today? And welcome to episode 5 of Ask Mackenzie. Now, I hope you guys are all having a fantastic week. I hope you guys had a great break off of some competitive football from what we had been seeing. A little break. We saw a little Pro Bowl, which wasn't exactly a Pro Bowl. A little weird compared to years past, I will say. But how's everybody doing today? Ragu, good evening. Good evening to everybody that is tuning in today. I am here in Los Angeles on the West Coast. Hey, George, welcome in. How are you guys all doing today? Did you get to catch any of the Pro Bowl, whatever it was, on Sunday? What did you think? How weird was it? Snoop Dogg and Pete Davidson. Is that right? Did you guys get to watch it? Is that who were the captains? And it was flag football this year. Is that from what my understanding is that we had a fantasy football game but Pro Bowl style. So nope, he says no Pro Bowl here. You didn't watch it? I didn't watch it either. I was actually working. I got to see some of the highlights though. Um, yeah, I feel like a lot of people said it was a waste of their time watching that game. Um, you say you remember when the players got to take their family to Hawaii. Those were the days, weren't they? Um, no, but so you guys, there were a few things that have happened, transpired with the Pittsburgh Steelers this week, and I want to know y'all's thoughts. Brian Flores says bye bye to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is now a Minnesota Viking. 1 year with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Is this a surprise to you? Do you think that Brian Flores should have stayed another year, or do you think 1 year with the Steelers was plenty enough to put him in a position to get to the next step of where he wants to be in his career? Now he will be the defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings, and do you believe that we're losing we're losing something, or do you think this is fine? We'll be fine without having him on our coaching staff. We didn't really get to, I don't know, there wasn't much noise. We didn't really talk about Brian Flores a lot this season. So is that something where you're super surprised? Is it a major surprise that he's not going to be on our roster next year? I think that I'm happy for, first of all, I'm happy for the man. I think that, if this is what is the best thing for him in his career as a coach, and to, potentially getting back to a head coaching position again one day, I think that, it was great that we were able to take him in and really, really accept him and him buy into the Steelers. But I think, this is just another ship that is sailed for the Pittsburgh Steelers. George says, no surprise to you. Best of luck to him also. I like that. George. I think it's fair to say that, the Pittsburgh Steelers should fully, support anyone who, is ready for that next stage in their career. Anybody that, is going to do what they need to do to accomplish their dreams. Hello, Jersey boy. Welcome. Did you get to catch any of this Pro Bowl game the other day? I want to hear what y'all think. Did you think we should have that again next year? I believe that a lot of fans were really underwhelmed with what they saw on Sunday. Ragu, sorry. What do you think about the Gruden rumor? Oh man, this is news to me, you guys. What is the Gruden rumor? Inform me. I have been living under a shell, I swear. I'm going to see if I can actually look that up. The Gruden rumor. let's see where we find. All right. I'm not seeing anything. Maybe I should go to Twitter and check this out. Gruden. All right, here's what do we see? Oh, coordinator. Whoa. This is news to my ears. Is this a rumor? Or are we confirming this rumor? Gruden to the Pittsburgh Steelers for an OC position? I thought the OC position was taken already. Is this just a rumor that people are just trying to create because they're bored? I don't know if this is right. Gruden Steelers. I see a tweet saying, I don't know why some Steelers fans want John Gruden as offensive assistant. Oh, offensive assistant. That's just not going to happen. Yeah, you guys, I think we should shut that down right now. However, I am seeing that Mike Tomlin and John Gruden have a connection that could lead to an offensive hire with the Steelers. However, I don't know if that's, but hey, I mean, let's think about it. Going from a head coaching position to an offensive assistant position kind of sounds like kind of what we did with Brian Flores, right? Am I wrong? Like, I feel like we're taking in all of these head coaches who are no longer head coaches and giving them a platform to really show them they still got it. You know, they still have a reason to coach. What talk show was this on? I'm curious. 007 says, oh, that's just a rumor. We're just brushing it under the rug. Steelers not bringing that jerk. It's BS. No, I really don't think that he fits the criteria of Pittsburgh Steeler Nation. We're not some shelter. We don't take in lost puppies if they've lost their way in the NFL. John Gruden is a completely different situation. Yeah, 007 reassures us Canada is here to stay. I don't think we're going to have any other higher experienced figure come in. Yeah, Jared Devil, that's clickbait content. I saw this article. It said, Matt Canada. Wait, not Matt Canada. They'd bring him in. They'd bring Gruden in as an assistant, and then promote him when Canada leaves. That's not really reasonable for us. Yeah. Like I was saying, Pittsburgh would not touch John Gruden. He just does not fit the Pittsburgh Steeler criteria. That's not happening. He says the Steelers would hire me before John Gruden. I think they would hire me before John Gruden. Put me in, coach. I'll be the coach. I'll coach them up, knock some sense in them. He says, why not hire me? I have a relationship with Tomlin. Hey, well, if you have a relationship with Tomlin, dude, then go for it, because anybody that can buy in to Tomlin and anybody that can really learn from Tomlin, I think has an advantage to them. Unfortunately, I don't think John Gruden is going to get that. So, hey, I think coaches should be excited to come to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that we are a family that opens people with arms, and it's whether or not they decide to buy into the Pittsburgh Steeler way. It's a two-way street. When you come to the Pittsburgh Steelers, you get what you get. How you take it in and how you mesh with the other players, that's up to you. And I want to pivot to my next point, you guys. I've been seeing some chat about Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell saying that, implying or insinuating that he might have made the wrong decision by not staying with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Things did not go his way when he left the Steelers, right? Barely lasted a year when New York, bounced around from team to team. Now he's coming out and saying that he's moving on to the next chapter in his life. Now, I believe that, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens in the universe, and we are all doing what is meant to be. Now, when Le'Veon Bell comes back and says, I wish things would have played out differently in 2018. Like, if I legit had a time machine to go back to 2018. Now, is this insinuating that he should have, like, stayed with us? When have we seen anybody leave the Pittsburgh Steelers and say, oh man, I wish I would have stayed? That's kind of, that shows something. I feel like, what do you guys think? Have you seen this? Have you read anything about this? Yeah, you saw on a podcast, he admitted that he messed up with the Steelers. Now, I respect that, you guys. You guys have heard me talk about when you leave the Pittsburgh Steelers, you're either going to crap talk us or you're going to be thankful that this was just another stepping stone in your career and that you had the Steelers to help you get to where you want to be. So we saw, AB is just, no, that's never going to happen. We see Juju go to the Chiefs and completely diminish us. I don't like that at all. And now, I don't know what Le'Veon Bell had said in the past about the Steelers, but if he's going on this podcast and insinuating that he wishes he had a time machine to go back in time, do you think Le'Veon Bell wishes he was still a Pittsburgh Steeler? I think that he's a little regretful. This is all just pointing to he wishes that he was able to change his actions. Maybe at the time he thought that his value was a lot higher than it actually was. And maybe he thought that teams were going to take him in open arms like they did with AB, like they did with Juju. But we're seeing now that that wasn't the case. And I think when a player goes through something that's a little bit eye-opening, I think it takes a lot of courage and a lot of it just says a lot about the individual if they just kind of are able to reflect on the mistakes. So I give Le'Veon Bell all the best luck. I wish him the best luck in his future endeavors. 007 says Le'Veon Bell was offered $14 million. He wanted girly money at $17 million. Ended up taking less with the Jets. See, I think right there is another example of what I was just touching on. He might have realized that he thought his worth was a little higher at the time than it actually was. Ended up taking less from the Jets. You see that right there. He, at the time, didn't realize or understand that maybe that's the route that was going to happen. But we saw what happened. Jersey Boy says, what happened to Bell? He listened to the hype on social media. He was 100% to go to the Chiefs and completely diminished the $1 million man. Everyone who has played with the Steelers admits they should have stayed if they left. My boy, Kendall Bell, tells me once a Steeler, they will make sure you have a home. Well, let me ask you this question. What about Juju? You've seen the crap talking that Juju's been talking about Pittsburgh, but everyone loves Juju. Everybody in Pittsburgh loves Juju. What do you? I'm curious. Demond. Is that how you pronounce? I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Demond. Demond. I apologize if I didn't pronounce that correctly. He must have ran out of pot and finally knows he messed up. What do you mean by that? That's hilarious. Yeah. So Le'Veon Bell regretting some decisions from the past, but again, everything happens for a reason, and what's meant to be will be. So my next talking point, you guys, the next point I want to talk about is now that the quarterbacks have confirmed they do not want to be with the Steelers next year. Mason Rudolph and Mitchell Trubisky should not be on the roster next year. Now, that next question that comes after, who's going to be the backup to Kenny? Rumor has it Jacoby Brissett is a pretty good candidate for the Pittsburgh Steelers as backup quarterback. What do y'all think about that? Do you think Jacoby Brissett would be a great backup quarterback? Do you think Jacoby Brissett is better than Mitchell Trubisky? Would you rather have Mitchell Trubisky or Jacoby Brissett on your roster? I would love to know what your thoughts would be about that. I think you guys know what my thoughts would be. Juju will always have a place in Pittsburgh after that hit on Burflick. Understandable. You guys, okay, so I truly think that Jacoby Brissett would be a better quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers than Mitchell Trubisky would be. And I think we have some takers that can agree with this. George says Jacoby clearly shows that he is able to win games. You saw how well he did with the Browns. Like, everybody was saying that Deshaun probably shouldn't have came in, that Jacoby could have finished off the season. I think that just goes to show about his talent as a quarterback. I don't think Mitchell Trubisky would have been so successful with. I think we would have had a losing season if we would have continued with Mitchell Trubisky. Do you guys agree with that? Do you think that Jacoby is the better fit for a backup quarterback for the Steelers? Do you think that if we somehow can get a veteran and draft someone, do you think that's the best result for beginning next season, like putting together that stack of quarterbacks? Brissett doesn't turn the ball over very much. Yeah, and we saw that happen with Mitchell. We saw that with Mitch. So I think it's imperative that your backup quarterback can do just as well as your first string, because who's going to be the guy when the first guy goes down? We've seen this all season. We've talked about this all season. We've seen it with so many different teams all season. We see it with your third string quarterbacks. Look at Brock Purdy and what he did with the 49ers. The 49ers were prepared. Now, if their situation was a little sticky, with Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo, and then both of them going down, no one expected that to happen. Brock Purdy was expecting anything to happen, and he was prepared. That's what the Pittsburgh Steelers need. They need somebody like that. Somebody that's reliant when the next man goes out. I don't think that Mitchell Trubisky is that guy for us. He agrees. Sign someone and draft someone. Exactly. That is, I feel like that is the key. Trey Lance, drafted. Jimmy Garoppolo, already there but veteran. Brock Purdy, they drafted another one. We're seeing the NFL change for a reason, because the next man up has to be just as good as the first, because there is going to be an injury almost every single game. And if you're not prepared, how do you expect to win? How do you expect to go to a Super Bowl? How do you expect to do all of these great things together if you're not prepared? All right, you guys. Another topic I would like to touch on. Now, we've talked about what position needs to be filled the most. We talked about depth and how important it is to have depth. Now, we can all sit here and say that we need better O-line, we need better corners. But I want to know what y'all think about this, okay? I'm going to get a sip of water real quick. Saw the stat earlier. The stat said the Steelers generated the third lowest defensive pressure percentage in the NFL this season. So they rarely got to the quarterback. Okay. TJ Watt with 5.5 sacks, only playing 10 games last year. Cam Hayward and Alex Highsmith playing the entire year. 10.5 sacks for Cam, 14.5 for Alex. When TJ went out, we did not have good pass rush. Do you think that we need a stack in the pass rush position? Because you could sit here and say that we're fine, that we have TJ, but in the pass rush, if you really think about it, that stat said we were third in the NFL for last, third to last in the NFL. Defensive pressure was just not there because we were relying on the same people to do it. And we saw what happens when either of those guys go out. It's like the defense goes away. It seems like it is non-existent. And that is a problem. D-line. The D-line. Exactly. So we sit here and talk about how on offense we need to protect the quarterback. That's just what it is. We have to protect the quarterback. But at the same time, on defense, we have to rush the quarterback. And if we can't rush, if all of our men seem incapable of doing that besides 3, I say we need to look for new ones. Because again, when the men go out, when the number ones go out, who's there to replace them? Last season, it wasn't good. We had a lot to work on. We have to go to those contingency plans, the what ifs. We need to be prepared for anything. We need to be prepared for the worst. And, hopefully in this offseason, hopefully we will be able to figure it out, see what the other teams are doing, seeing how important it is to have depth on every position. It's just funny how we all sit here and we try to pinpoint one little thing, but they're all the pieces to the puzzle. It's not, we just can't play the blame game every week. I feel like every time we sit here and think about where we're weak, it's like a name blame game, and it shouldn't be like that. Yes, so Jared Devil agrees. Both sides need to be addressed very, very early in the draft. I think that's imperative to having a successful offseason, so we will be prepared, put in that position to go into the season with the best guys to back up the best guys, because that's how the NFL is going. I don't think we're gonna see a lot of the ABs and Le'Veon Bells anymore come around, or not Le'Veon Bells, Juju. I don't think we're gonna be seeing that as much. Maybe we will, but I don't know, because y'all gotta be humble. If y'all think you're great, if y'all think you're better than everyone, then it's just a I'm better than you game, and that's just not how it should be. Yeah, at the same time, Steelers' run defense got better. Oh, 100%. We did get better. The whole team collectively got better, but we were also put in a position to fail. We almost didn't have a third-string quarterback to go to. We almost had Zach Gentry be our quarterback. We almost had a tight end be our quarterback. Unless you're Taysom Hill, I don't think any team should have a tight end being their third-string quarterback, because Mason wasn't active, Mitch was injured, Kenny was injured, sticking through it. Mitch was it's just, we can't be put in these situations. I think we got very lucky towards the end of the season. I think we got very lucky that we were able to get the men on board, that we were able to get people to collectively, understand that there was an issue, that we needed to do something better. And I think it was apparent that we did that. So I think that it's going to, we have the blueprint set up for us to be successful. It's a matter of executing at this point. So I really didn't want to get into draft picks and draft talk until after the Super Bowl, until next week, but we can touch on it for a second. So wait, we have 2 first-round picks? That makes a lot of sense. So what Jared Devil says, we have the 32nd pick because of Claypool. Basically a late first round pick, but we only really have one. This is going to be good for us, you guys, because we're usually waiting around for the end of the first round to finish before we think, oh, we're not going to get some of the best guys off the board early. But we saw what happened last season. I don't think anybody was prepared to see Kenny Pickett come off that board at 19. So this is kind of exciting for us because I think that maybe we will be able to get the guys that we need to complete the puzzle. The general manager, Omar Khan, better get hit right this draft and better not screw up. Don't draft a wide receiver. Don't draft running back. Don't draft a quarterback in the first 4 or 5 rounds. I'm just going to stretch that one right now. We need O linemen. We need D linemen. We need corners. We need the little pieces to the puzzles that no one's really thinking about. It's first pick in the second round. You guys, I think that we're gonna. I really think that we will be in a good position. Another thing that I didn't mention. It's kind of scary to think about. Remember when we talked about how Matt Canada came from an ACC college coaching background? Guess who also played in the ACC in college with Matt Canada? Anybody know? Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett has experience with Matt Canada. How does that make you guys feel? Seeing Jacoby, seeing how not that bad of a quarterback. And now hearing that he has actually been coached by one of ours. I'm sure a lot of Steelers fans won't be happy to hear about that because they're hatred for Matt Canada. So I think it's a little contradictory for someone to say to continue to be on the hate train. So you guys are still talking about these draft picks. Weidel is helping Khan. You've seen what he's done with the Eagles. I think we'll be just fine. Yeah, I agree. I think we'll be just fine. Ragu says, free picks in the first, 57 or 9. Not sure. Interesting. Well, we'll figure it out. Anyways, you guys, I am just about done here. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 5 of Ask MAKENZIE. I'm really excited for the Super Bowl, but I'm really sad. That football is ending, you guys. Now all we're going to be doing is speculating for months and months and months, and all we can do is just hope and wish that we get who we want next season. So maybe next week there will be some more moves. Maybe next week Mason Rudolph and Mitchell Trubisky won't be on our roster. But we will see. Should be an interesting week, especially with the Super Bowl happening. I'm rooting against those Kansas City Chiefs, you guys. I'm rooting against them. I don't want them to be another Patriots. I just can't have another Patriots fan base. I just can't. Dante and Kyler says, just focus on building the trenches in the draft, and I think we will be a sneaky good team next year. I agree with that. Who do I have in the Super Bowl? Eagles. I'm an Eagles girl this weekend. And Dante and Kyler agree with that statement. They're taking the Eagles over the Chiefs. Have a great evening, everyone. Have a great evening, Radu. Goodbye, Jersey boy. George says he's going to be rooting for the Eagles too. Well, fly, Eagles, fly. Just kidding. Here we go, Steelers. I'll see y'all next week. Have a great